It's the last day of the trading month, and this is your weekly gold, silver, and platinum price analysis brought to you by Ainslie Bullion and the Gold and Silver Standard. What does March hold? Let's take a look at where we came from in the last week and where we might go in the next week or so. So you're looking at gold on the weekly time frame. Currently, it's priced in US dollars, as we always do, and we're using the tradingview.com website. Let's pop on the indicators and let's quickly look at where we were last time. So $1,840, so we have seen a dip in the price, currently $1,815 roughly. I just do need to quickly address the gold to silver ratio, because last week's video I entitled it "Will Silver Outperform Gold?" I made the call that I thought personally, of course not financial advice and not the opinion of Ainslie itself, but I did think that silver would outperform gold last week. We certainly did not see that. If you look at the gold to silver ratio, I thought there was room to move back down into that purple box, rectangular box right here. We did spend some time in that area, but I thought we were a little bit overbought in terms of gold outperforming silver. I thought this ratio would drop back down to there at least, but we certainly did not see that. In fact, the opposite. We did see an actual little dip. If you check it out right here, we saw that dip. I thought it would dip further, so we did see a little bit more of a dip, but then a complete reversal all the way up into 88.25 roughly. Now, this is on the daily time frame of the gold to silver ratio. That certainly looks a little extended to me now. Could we see a move back down to here to that sort of 86 level? Quite possibly. If you take a look also, last time, if you'll see right here, we had hit the overbought territory, overbought quote unquote, on the gold to silver ratio. So that's why I thought we would have room to move down back to this area here. But you can see we shot into overbought territory as such. Now I think we could cool off more reliably. I think I can say that we would cool off here in the gold to silver ratio. So maybe you'll see this current week silver outperforming gold. But let's take a quick look as to why that might be. But definitely wrong last week in terms of silver outperforming gold. Absolutely did not happen. Let's take a look at the gold price first. $1,815. What you'll notice here is in the last week we had that move down to 1,820, a move back up to that 1840 level, which is where we were last week, but a sharp move back down and into the purple box right here, which I have been talking about for a number of weeks, in between the range of 1,790 and 1,810 US dollars. And I was saying last week and the week before as well, and I think the week before that as well, that we needed to spend a little bit of time within this area. Technically, we have hit it. Whether we bounce off here or spend a little bit more time remains to be seen. What we are noticing on the daily time frame, you'll see here on the relative strength index, we have come down into oversold territory, almost an extremely oversold territory, although I do think there is a little bit more room to move down, and we've certainly seen the day open red. So a few more red days in gold to come down somewhere into this range, maybe mid-range, or maybe all the way down to 1790 would not surprise me. And it would not surprise me if we do go down into extremely oversold on the relative strength index before having a bounce back, which we certainly will at some point. So on balance of probability, I'm going to say we will continue to move down in gold. That's my humble opinion. Again, absolutely could be wrong, but on balance of probability, maybe into oversold territory before we flip back into the normal zone as such. So I think we will spend a little bit more time in here, even though we have technically hit it. And so let's take a look on the weekly time frame though. That's the daily. Let's take a look at the weekly. We have hit this level I've had drawn in here, halfway between overbought and oversold. So that is a support level. That's making the case for maybe the bottom is in. So that is making the case for that. But also you have the weekly time frame. We are green still technically on the weekly, but you have absolutely, we're on Tuesday right now, and you have the start of a new month coming. So, and I'll go to the monthly in just a second. Very easily you could see this green week turn red quite quickly, and again the bottom for me would be at that 1,790. Very clear support there, in my humble opinion. But buying anywhere within here, I think you'd be getting the dip, buying the dip as such. Again, not financial advice and not advice of Ainslie itself, but that's the area of major support that I'm looking at, 1,790 US dollars. Take a look at gold on the monthly time frame. Now, interestingly, okay, so new month starting tomorrow. And so, look, after such a large move from here, so we're talking November, December, and January, 3 consecutive months of green candles, I wouldn't suggest that we are going to open and go straight to the green right away tomorrow. So I think there is a little bit of room to move down. More likely than not, you are going to see a price movement down before potentially a price move back up. You could see a green month technically when we close in March. Maybe it could be technically a green month, but I think we do need to move down a little bit before. I don't think we open here and just sail back up here. Again, my opinion, not financial advice. I am looking at that 1,790 US dollar range as a major support level. If we do break further down, if March is not a good month for gold, and if we do continue down, my next level is right here, and I'll pop it in. Horizontal line right there. Can you see that? Right there. And that is at 1,730 US dollars, where we may find a support level on the monthly time frame in March. So first level, 1,790. Hopefully we bounce back up from there, but I do think we need to visit there. And then possibly if it's no good, 1,730 US dollars as a bottom for March. So that is my opinion for gold. So on balance of probability, bearish in the first week of March, and then let's just see where we go from there, see where we bounce or whether we sail through that 1790 area. Silver. So let's take a look at silver on the monthly. I'm more optimistic for silver, actually. So I think, as I said, with the gold to silver ratio, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because look at this on the monthly time frame as well. That's looking very, very juicy. Although you will notice that we are at a level, we're coming up to some resistance here on the gold to silver ratio. I'd say around about here is a decent move all the way from 75, this is back in December last year, all the way up to 88. A little bit of a cool off wouldn't be surprising, but again, look at this beautiful candle. If this continues right here, you could easily see a move back up into sort of the 90s area in the gold to silver ratio. And I would suggest here, you can see it right here, that area there would be an area of resistance that it would need to push through around about 93 if March is a good for gold month in terms of the gold to silver ratio. So gold outperforming silver once again. So you could quite potentially see that, but that's an area of resistance I would be looking at on the gold to silver ratio. Let's take a look, go back to silver. Again, on the monthly, we'll take it to the daily. And what you can see very clearly on the daily is we are already in oversold territory. So that's why I thought that the gold to silver ratio may drop a little bit, at least in the next few days, because silver is definitely within oversold territory, and gold has yet to hit that oversold territory. So I do think gold will come down into oversold. I think silver will track back up from here. So in the next few days at least, and I won't talk about the next month, in the next few days at least, I think silver will outperform gold. So it'll come back down to this 86 level roughly. So silver to outperform gold in the next few days at least. The next whole week, the next 2 weeks, the next month, I can't really talk about. Next few days, I think silver will outperform gold. So we had come from the $21.75 level all the way back up here. Clear move straight through that rectangular area that I thought we would spend some time in, but we have found so far support at my other previous level here of $20.60. What I want you to look out for here on silver, two things. You have this trend line right here going down here. I think this could be an area of support right here. So it depends on when it hits. So it might be around about your $20 level. You can see that right here. And of course, this big symmetrical triangle pattern. This is a big macro one. This goes back all the way to March of 2020 and the top here in February of 2021. You can see that very clear symmetrical triangle pattern. Now what happens, obviously, it's going to break out of that symmetrical triangle at some point. It will make a decision. Now what never happens, and I've never seen it happen, is it never gets to the very apex, the very corner of the symmetrical triangle before making its decision. Usually it happens around about, well, no later than here. So I'm going to suggest that on the sort of more macro time frame, the decision, whether it breaks out, so third time's a charm, breaking out of this downtrend line here, or whether it breaks down from this uptrend line, that decision will be made by no later than the end of August. I'm going to call it at around about here. If I pop in a horizontal line, let's say not a horizontal, a vertical line right here, I'm going to say by no later than August. I'm going to say by the 1st of September, I think it will have made its decision. Now, where do you think the price of silver is going in the longer term? You tell me for 2023. I certainly gave my opinion or some price targets in a video, which I'll link above now, which was a silver price prediction for 2023. But it will absolutely have to make its decision by September, in my humble opinion. Many people are calling for this area here roughly to be a bottom, and then we bounce off. So what you might see is a bounce off of this $20 level and then continue its merry way up for third time's a charm. First test, second test, maybe third time's a charm, hopefully for silver. But this is the big area you want to take note of right here. And potentially if we do break down through this trend line here, you're going to come up and find support, or at least a test of that at this trend line right here. It just depends on when it hits. But I would be looking in the interim, in the next few days at least, if we do see a further downward movement in silver, to come down and test this trend line right here. We are tracking up. It's a slight green day in silver at the moment. Let's take a look at the weekly. Actually, go back to the daily as I showed you. Sorry about that. Back to the daily. As I said, we are in extremely oversold right now. So a move back up is more likely than not because we are in oversold, extra oversold territory on silver. Let's take a look at the weekly. And on the weekly time frame, we have come down and broken through this level of 44, which you can see right there on the relative strength index. And we do have a red week so far. You found a little bit of support there at that $20.55 level. We're hanging around there at the moment. So that's what I'll leave it at for silver at the moment. You have that support level being tested right now, breaking down. It will come down and meet this trend line here, and breaking further, you've got this long-term uptrend line, that symmetrical triangle pattern. Now, the next resistance level, if we do break up from here, and I did mention this last week, the next major resistance to break through is going to be here at $22.50. So that is silver. Let's take a look at platinum now. Has platinum bottomed out for 2023? There are some signs to point to yes. Of course, this massive move, look at this. The week has just opened. Let's pop this into the daily time frame. And a very clear rejection of breaking down further, or what I should say is a confirmation of support. Been talking about this very long-term support level of $900. It goes back quite a fair way. You can see it as support here. It was resistance, previous support again, some resistance. So the $900 level is a key level, and we did not break down. So it was a failed move to break $900 so far, and oftentimes from a failed moves comes a fast move in the opposite direction. But we also notice here is that we had already gotten into extremely oversold on the daily time frame in platinum, and you saw this move. Again, it was a failed attempt to break down further, a fake out, so a fast move in the opposite direction, back up to this rectangular area here, this purple box of between that $940 to $960 level. And we're very clearly now in a movement from extremely oversold heading into overbought. You can see that. I don't think we're going to dip back down into the oversold territory now. I think we're going to be moving higher. Again, that's my personal opinion on platinum. So I think we're looking a little bit rosier for platinum against silver and gold. So I would watch for the first resistance level here at $970. The next resistance level is going to be somewhere between your 1,000 psychological value. But again, this, and I've said it a million times before, this long-term downtrend line going back all the way to February of 2008. We've tried a few times to break through and hold a support. It has not happened yet. Maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe fourth time's the charm. This time, you never know. But that's going to be your next area of resistance, around about that $1,000 level. On the weekly time frame, we did come down close to my support level on the relative strength index. You can see a very clear support. See all those touches right there as levels of support on a relative strength index on the weekly time frame. That is, we have not come down to touch it, but it has bounced off so far. And we absolutely, history does not show that we have to go into oversold territory in platinum before we see some higher prices. So quite potentially a bottom for 2023, and I'll put a link above to my platinum price prediction video for 2023 because this $900 level happened to be the first bottoming target for 2023. But again, I'll put a link above to that and you can check out that video. So in the next month, let's take a look at the monthly. On the monthly time frame, you can see a very clear wick down. And so March could be a green month for platinum. What do you think about platinum? What do you like the fundamentals of platinum? I will give you a sneak preview. We are doing our topic of the week this week is all about platinum. That's going to be released on a Friday, and it's all about the fundamentals of platinum, the supply side and the demand side for platinum in the next coming couple of years. And I'll give you a extra sneak peek. It's all about hydrogen. So check that out on Friday. That's why quite possibly platinum may have bottomed for 2023. I may even entitle this video something like has platinum bottomed for 2023, something like that. That's your gold, silver, and platinum price analysis for this week. We'll see you next week. Of course, like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, particularly for that platinum fundamental video coming on Friday. And as always at the end, balance your wealth in an unbalanced world. Take care. We'll speak to you soon.